Who'd like to give a recap?
Well, we have finally managed to solve the puzzle to get into Mordenkainen's true treasure room, which we then were faced with a giant in the center of some kind of dais or platform, shouting at us in some unknown language, and then started throwing rocks at us. And so Lucirosi and Daggerface went to engage the giant, and after getting tossed around back and forth into the fire, Lucirosi, was fighting it valiantly, but it took the harsh words of Aurelia to finally bring the beast down in the best possible death scene for that giant, enormous beast of a creature. After that, we solved another puzzle, moving stones around thanks to Zarius casting Enhance ability to give Lucirosi and somebody else. I think Zarius, you cast it on yourself too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So between the two of us, we were able to move around just huge stones to put them into the right position to make the dais safe, because it was caught in an inferno that just wouldn't stop. And within the center of this platform, there was a statue of a person that seemed a bit too detailed, and T-Hole, rightly assuming that it was probably somebody that was petrified, released them. And
Aurelia actually released them.
Oh, Aurelia, yes. Aurelia released this person, and it turned out to be the mage Bucknard, who, based on what he was saying and T-Hole's estimations, had probably been cast in stone for over 1,000 years. And so Bucknard revealed that there was a wand of some great importance that Mordenkainen was being too flippant about using for Bucknard's taste, and while trying to dissuade Mordenkainen from his business with the wand, Mordenkainen petrified him. We also learned from Bucknard, to Lucirosi's great enjoyment, that T-Hole is probably a fraud. The T-Hole that Bucknard knew was this giant of a man who was a great warrior and had no magical aptitude whatsoever, and also would constantly give Bucknard noogies and headlocks.
He said that. Before Bucknard said. He did say it. Just throwing that out there.
But then Bucknard also revealed that Lucirosi, by recognizing his voice, was actually somebody named Robilar, who was part of an ancient order, the Citadel of the Eight.
Which he said not to confuse with the Circle of Eight.
Right. And then provided Lucirosi with the seed of Didarian, and also provided Lucirosi with some information regarding Melora's servant being caught by some demons or devils, and that he tried to convince us to travel with him to find out the status of this wand because it posed a really huge threat to creation, and he could easily teleport us through or help us travel through the astral plane. But at least Lucirosi was more concerned at the moment with the threat that Paradana posed, since whatever it is that Bucknard was concerned about, 1,100 years had passed and nothing seemed to have come about from it. So for him, it seemed the more immediate threat to be dealt with. Zarius then, traveling through the skull, discovered the true treasure room of Mordenkainen, where there was a library with some tomes of significance, as well as some treasures, and then T-Hole, seeing one that seemed to be locked and have a sword upon it, grabbed the sword, and then we were transported out of the treasure room back into the manor proper, although minus Bucknard because he had stepped out. And then the sword came to life and is now in the process of attacking T-Hole, and that's where we left off.
Sort of. The sword, there is a sword of force that looked like as if it's poised to attack T-Hole, but T-Hole is still holding the short sword he pulled, which is a brass thing. It's not a real short sword, but it was affixed to the cover of one of the books. You also notice now, once your eyes clear from the passage, you notice the sword is wheeling around to attack T-Hole. You also notice, that's when you notice Bucknard isn't there anymore. And he hadn't actually gone into the room and then stepped out. Zarius expressed concerns about him going in the first place, so he just never went in. You also notice that, I will let Brendan describe, but there is a curious creature that is sort of peering in from Aregia's former bedroom.
He's there. So I'll put up a picture of what he looks like. He looks pretty daunting, so please don't attack me. Is that working? Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Quick, cast Tidal Wave.
So I peek around the corner, and it's pretty easy to spot as I'm like riding up the outside, and I look in and I'm like peering around, and I see Daggerface, and I say, "You're who I'm looking for. Your slave, your servant. He has been attacked. He told me to come find you."
So you get about that much out when everybody can roll for initiative.
Make sure to click your character.
Yeah, not bad.
Okay, click my character, my character sheet, roll my initiative. Boom.
Missing Aurelia.
There we should. Yeah. Okay.
There it goes.
I'm currently having some technical difficulties.
So, Brendan's character reminds me of Ignis from Planescape Torment, which was an awesome game.
I never actually played that game.
No, it is amazing.
So because your eyes are still clearing from this plane shifting endeavor, suppose I could roll initiative for T-Hole.
I got it now. My browser can be really slow
Okay.
when trying to readjust screens.
No, but because you're still readjusting from plane shifting in, you are all surprised this round. The sword, however, is not. So it is going to attack T-Hole.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, both of those hit.
You take 29 force damage.
T-Hole is down for the count. So as as he shifts into this plane, the sword strikes him, and he is knocked out cold.
So you go to 0. T-Hole is instantly dying. The moment your eyes clear, you see this sword hit him twice, and he crumples to the floor. And you're all surprised this round. So unless you have something to do,
Can we do bonus actions on a surprise round?
no,
I forget.
I don't think so.
I know we don't get an action or reaction, but maybe no bonus action. I don't remember.
I think it's no bonus actions. So let's see. The sword. The sword wheels around and takes aim at Sarius on the next round.
No longer surprised, right?
Yes, you're no longer surprised. I believe it hits once.
That would be correct.
So you take 11 force damage. T-Hole is unconscious. Daggerface will swing at the sword. Daggerface is useless. And it's Sarius' turn.
Okay. Sure. Let's see here. I didn't really get a chance to properly do spells here, but I guess since you're unconscious and starting the dying process, I will pull out a Cure Wounds for you. We'll do 3rd level. And that will be max healing on it, in fact. So it's actually 3d8s plus 4, so a lot
28.
of d8s.
So that's 28 hit points.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just enough for him to be able to just barely go down the next round.
Right.
Is he nearby me? T-Hole?
He's
Looks like he's
10
looks
feet
like
away
he's-
from you.
Can I shift like through here and
Yes.
still be okay? I'm gonna kick the sword from his hand.
Okay. I generally would assume he probably dropped it, but sure.
Okay.
That's not an action.
Okay. I didn't know. Maybe he clung on to it for some reason.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I don't really have any other bonus actions, so that'll be effective. That is. I'll just sit here.
Okay, Lucirosi, it's your turn.
Does this sword, the appearance of it, does it look like it could be potentially held?
It's a bit larger than a normal sword, but it looks solid enough. I mean, whether it presumably will, try to fight you like a creature would try to fight you, but it looks like it has some physical substance to it.
Because I'm wondering if I can grapple it and then try and prevent it from actually doing anything, because of the way that if I could actually, well, then I would be. I can't.
I mean, I would
if
say
I grabbed
that,
it, I can't necessarily guarantee that I'd be grabbing it by the hilt either.
I would say that if you grappled it, it wouldn't be able to move. You would basically pull it into your space, and it wouldn't be able to move from your space. You'd have to pin it in order to really immobilize it to the point where it wasn't moving.
Right.
And it's hard. It's impossible for you to judge just from seeing it fly through the air how strong it is. So how
Right.
easy it is to grapple it, you're not sure. But you in theory could pin it to the floor, to a wall.
Okay. So I would try to do that then, I think. A regular attack roll, right? Or is it?
It's a grapple check, an athletics
yeah,
check.
athletics. All right, so I'll go with that.
It uses acrobatics. So you've successfully grappled it and pulled it into your space.
Okay. And then so with my next attack action, am I able to pin it without the grappler feat?
Yeah, you can try.
Okay. Okay. So then that's just another athletics.
Yep. And you now have it. It is now pinned underneath you on the floor.
Okay.
Struggling mightily. It is a slippery thing.
Okay.
But you've got it.
So when that happens, I yell out to Zarius, Aurelia, and the recently resumed to consciousness T-hole. Can any of you dispel it? I don't know how much longer I can hold it.
So you get that out. People can respond as we go. Aurelia, what are you doing?
Dispel magic on the sword.
Okay. I will tell you, you do that, and that doesn't do anything to it.
Okay. All right.
How do you say your character's name, Brendan?
So, yeah, it's easy just to say Crick. Yeah.
So she sees that it doesn't do anything, and she reaches into her pouch and grabs that bed leg club that she got. Hold it down, Mr. Scratches. I'm going to beat it into submission.
I mean, actually, I should say, if you want to use an action point, I'll give you a chance of doing something to it. But just dispel magic on its own wouldn't. You'd have to dig a little deeper.
Okay. Well, yeah, if it'll give me a chance, I'll use an action point, sure.
Okay, so make me a spellcaster check.
Okay. That's
It's D20 plus your charisma modifier. The number you're looking for is 17 or higher.
D20. We will roll a D20. 10 plus my charisma modifier. I don't think.
Which is it? Plus 7. It's probably plus
7.
5.
If only you could give yourself bardic inspiration.
Yeah, it's just
That is true. On this one, you would get your half of your. You might be able to get it. I assume your charisma is 20.
Yep. So it'll be 5 plus.
Half your proficiency bonus. So
Ooh.
the sword. Thank you for reminding me that bards are just full of tricks, because I would not have remembered Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you are struggling really hard, Lucirosi, to hold this sword down. The spell is cast by Aurelia, and you find that you're just struggling with the air now as it completely vanishes.
Thank Asteros. I don't know how much I could have done. I'm still recovering from that giant.
And there is a demonic creature at the doorway behind you.
She immediately turns and takes out Regia's sword and readies himself and says, "Who goes there?"
You did hear him address Daggerface as your vision was clearing.
Did it say Daggerface?
I believe he did.
Mm-hmm.
Daggerface, do you know this thing?
I don't know him. I don't know him. But I know of him. the slave, the other slave in this mansion, whatever you want to call it, it said to seek him out.
The servant?
Yes, or a slave, whatever you want to call him.
Well, describe this slave. And don't spare the gory details.
It's a little metal box with tubes and buttons.
Ah, yes, the servant.
Yes. Well, he seemed to be a slave. But in any case, he was being tortured by a ghost or something. I'm not from this world. I'm from the created planes, the fire planes.
Creature, how did you get here?
I entered through the chapel, or a place dedicated to the gods. I was with the fire prince Inix. He was in a great fight with many demons which have intruded our lands. It's been pretty full on.
Yeah, anybody who is who either is proficient in religion or arcana can make a check to see if you understand or catch any of the references he's making. I mean, you would all be vaguely aware, at least, of the plane of fire. So what you would all know is all of your rolls were high enough that I'll just say you would all know that Imix is considered to be the evil prince of fire. The destructive impulse that exists in all fire is Imix. And it's said that on a certain level he is aware of or controls every fire that takes a life.
How big, Brendan, how big is your character?
I'm about 6 foot. I'm like a humanoid sized creature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so your ruler is Imix?
Yes, I'm an escaped slave. He was distracted, and while he wasn't looking, I ran into the pillar of fire which moves us through different lands, and here I am.
Well,
So
having a Prince of Fire as an ally could be valuable.
He is no ally you want. He sees you as husks, just like myself. He will purify you.
Whatever this
Wow.
place is, it is still concerning that the demons have made their way there.
While I was walking around, I've got I found some things. I can't carry them all, and I just hand over a fistful of potions. I give like a healing potion, like a healing potion to T-Hole, and there's like a potion of giant strength as well. I think I've got heal giant strength.
So is your so do you have fire like coming off your skin?
Yeah, so I have fire hair, and where my eyes should be, there's fire coming out of them. Otherwise, my skin is like a husk, like a charred sort of not flesh anymore. It's like bark almost.
So Aurelia walks up to you and says, "Does that hurt? You're on fire."
Not this, and I like touch my skin. But if anything inside is hurt, I am.
That's so sad. You can join us. That's Mr. Scratches. And he points to Lucerosi. And of course, Emperor T-Hole.
I will serve as your servant, and I bow towards. I bow towards T-Hole.
As you're having this conversation, you all, at first imperceptibly, but over the course of several seconds, begin to notice that it's almost as if the light in this room is being drained away, even though you're staring at this flame-headed creature in front of you. Even its light seems to be dimming.
And it's like centered in this room, or
it's hard to say. It's as if just the light all around you is dying. It was already dark out in the bedroom from when you reopened the portal, but it's as if somehow light is being suppressed.
Hold on. Do any of you notice this?
We should move from this room.
Yes, we need to get out.
While there was a name, a Zaksab, there was a ghost screaming it while it was torturing the other slave.
Zaksab?
Yes.
You begin to hear a rattling coming from the room that this creature is in, from the bedroom. It sounds like a piece of wood rattling, like somebody shaking a door to the point of it possibly getting close to breaking.
I'll step into the room.
Yeah, as will I.
Step past the fiery being.
Yeah, Teal's gonna do the same, just barrel through the room.
Do you guys see that pentagram move?
Wait, the very runes of this room are crawling.
Hold on, let me stand in the middle of the pentagram.
Maybe it'll hold it in place. Can hold it down. Everybody else, stand on the corners.
So as you've all, except for Daggerface, who can't get by Aurelia and stand anywhere in particular, you all run into this room. You all hear in your mind, I am come from beyond the veil. By the might of Orcus, at last I shall have vengeance for my own one. And the door to this room, before you all move up to the door to this room flies off its hinges. And you see there is like an inky black smoke that is hanging in the door. It's really no more than that. It's like a somewhat coherent cloud about 6 feet tall and 3 feet wide. But it just seems to be made of darkness. Some of you can see that at least. I don't know what T-Hole's doing, or Zarius.
Where was it at?
It's in the doorway leading into the residence.
This
right here?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Zaksab. My own one.
The smoke begins to sort of form more and more into something like a form, like a humanoid form. It seems as if the cloud is taking shape.
It is one of the mind flayers. Kill it.
I didn't see your message there before. Be gone from this place, and I will cast banishment.
Okay, let's see. So that is a charisma save.
Yes.
What's your DC?
Should be 16.
And you see the cloud blinks out of existence.
To give the telltale pop, as if being removed permanently.
You're pretty sure it was your spell. You're not sure if it was removed permanently or not.
Okay.
But it is not in the room.
Sure.
Where did he go?
Wait a minute.
I removed it from his play.
My own one. These are things that Karahul was speaking of.
Yes. Zaksab was Carol Hool's other half that perished before we got to Alcator.
That doesn't make sense. I thought that Solosary was buried in its dead skull.
That may have been an undead creature. He did speak of coming through the veil. Be cautious. It may return shortly. Be ready.
Even so, how would it have found us?
Some undead are very tenacious. That's why we must remove them. They are abominations.
Once the creature was banished, did that have any effect on the lighting issue? Or are the lights still dimming?
The lights seem to return, but the garden was already black from when you opened the portal.
Uh-huh.
But the light in the treasure room itself returned.
Okay.
I seem to. Do you recall after we killed Carol Hool and its essence just lingered like a stain on that room in that area? And it didn't feel like there was anything we could do to clean it.
Yes, and when I executed Gruzza, she was quite put out by the fact that it was right next to the Carnstone. What was it? The
Tor.
Tor. Yes, and there was that magical interaction where that something tried to escape from her body, but then was absorbed by the Tor, canceled or destroyed.
It's
she had
possible.
She mentioned something about not wishing to die there. She tried to trick us into leading her back to the wreckage, the temple in the swamp.
I wonder if they, Gruzza and Carol Hool and Zaxab all were listening to Orcus in some way, shape, or form, whether they knew it or not.
No, I think that they were definitely aligned with something greater than themselves. They all seem to be working together beneath something quite powerful. And if that thing has the ability to bring them back from death, Orcus would be a logical, albeit unfortunately powerful, patron for them to have. Zarius, the spell that you cast, will it last? Or should we expect that this thing will return?
I could not tell. It may return shortly, or it may be gone. In a minute, I'll know.
Hey,
we need to make preparations.
I hate almost to ask this in the way that I feel like I have to, but T-Hole, you woke up. The short sword that you had plucked from the front of the spellbook was on the floor. What are you doing with the spellbook and the sword?
Well, I would put the spellbook in my satchel.
Okay.
From the sword's perspective, well, it did try to kill me.
Well, to be clear, there are two swords. There's the sword you pulled from the front of the book, and then when you reappeared, you were still holding that sword, but another sword of force had appeared in the air next to you. That other sword is now gone, but
I would be still holding the one that I was holding.
I kicked it from your hand.
Oh, you did?
Unless you picked it back up again.
Is that this one?
Yeah, no, there's it was the one that was there. So yeah, I guess. But it was just I didn't put an icon for the other sword. It was just something you picked up.
Got it. So I thought it was the sword in my hand that like floated and tried to stab me. So.
Yeah, no, that was a physical brass sword that was affixed to the book cover. This one was a sword of magical force.
So, in perfect retrospect, I would have grabbed the sword as I walked out, or tried to if I ran past it.
That's fine. So as this is happening, then another sword of force appears and darts across the room towards Teal. Luckily, we didn't even. I specifically didn't change the initiative order.
While all of that was happening, hopefully before the sword flew into the room, in the midst of the discussion with Zarius, Lushrosi, if there was time, would have put the seed of Didarian into his puzzle box.
That's fine. So the sword again attacks.
Jesus Christ.
Well, at least the first one doesn't. Oh, wait, no, that's the Christmas saver.
No, they both hit you.
Does it have advantage?
It does not have advantage.
Can I use cutting words on it?
You absolutely could use cutting words, I guess. I don't assume it has to understand.
Oh, crap. So that's what? A D6 or D8?
That's a...
What level are you?
8 or 10,
Yeah.
I think.
8.
Your 8th level bard?
Yeah.
No, you're a 9th level bard. You just don't change it on your character.
That's right. I haven't changed it yet.
Yeah, so it's a D8. Next level, it'll be a D10.
Oh my god, suck.
So 18 still hits. So you take 24 damage, T-Hole, and you're down to 4. But that's its turn. It's your turn, T-Hole.
So as T-Hole was running through, he picked up the sword, and then he turns around and sees this sword slashing at him, cutting him. He'll reflexively throw down the sword, kind of back back into the room, and then he'll cast a 4th level Dispel Magic.
Okay, as with Aurelia, I would let you have it affect it potentially if you use an action point. But dispel magic by itself doesn't affect this thing.
Yeah, I'm going to use an action point with it.
Okay, then make a caster level check. Since you're using a 4th level spell slot, you can add +1.
Let's see, 1d20.
Yeah, just click your intelligence. That should.
Oh. Intelligence. Then why can't I click it?
Click on the word.
Yeah. So
once again, it just vanishes in midair. Now, judging from what happened last time, you're guessing that if you give it 60 seconds or so, it might reform.
What is going on?
I think that dagger on the front of the spell book was cursed.
What if it is the book?
Well, we'll see how that goes.
T-Hole, you may need to accept that you must leave that book behind for now. Otherwise, the nature of that curse, those things might continue to just pop up. We cannot continue saving you.
I'll continue to save you, Emperor T-Hole.
Thank you.
And if it is what you wish, Master, so shall I.
Oh my God. He's got a posse now.
Thank you. I'm not quite willing to give up the book just yet.
I can attempt to melt down that sword if that is the source of the problem.
Well, I would rather we just we just leave the sword in there and lock it up, and then we don't have to worry about it. And then we can determine if it's truly the book or not.
Yeah. Go ahead. You're proficient in both Arcana and Investigation, so go ahead and give me an Investigation check.
Sword back into the book.
Investigation and Arcana?
No, just Investigation. Hearing what Zaria said, you're thinking, hey, maybe this is some way of protecting the book. And it's you unlocked the book by pulling the sword out. Maybe that's the problem. You unlocked this book, so now this sword is coming to attack you. So maybe if you put the sword back in the book, affix it to the cover again.
Well, Zarius, I think you may be right about this one.
I think so, yeah.
So he will go and T-Hole will quickly, while this inky creature has currently gone, will stick the sword back in the front of the book. Stick it in
there are
there.
these metal springs, essentially, that you had to pull to get it out, but you put it back in. And thinking about it, Mordenkainen is exactly the sort of person who would put kind of a living spell as a guardian for a book like this.
Yeah,
so you feel pretty confident that the sword won't return, at least until you try to open the book again.
That asshole.
Yeah, big ass.
He would do something like this just to vex me. That was always his way. Well, at least we know we should be on our guard the next time we decide to read the book. And we can maybe take proper precautions.
He could have been that smoky mist that showed up that the Dragon Man casts away.
I doubt Zarius would be able to cast away Mordenkainen with such ease. Even as powerful as you are, Zarius. Well, anyway, next time we open up the book, I'll be sure to don a full plate.
That'll do it.
Just sit down, full plate, and put my visor over. All right, ready to open.
Or just have somebody hold it for you.
True.
Right, there you go. Just get somebody else to pull the sword off next time, and then you can go read the book while they deal with whatever happens.
I could do that for you, Master.
Your services may be needed at some point.
So as this conversation has gone on, Zarius, I assume you've been kind of on guard, waiting to see, because you've been maintaining concentration on your banishment, I assume.
Right.
Right. And as the minute passes, you feel pretty certain it's not coming back. At least it's not reappearing in the spot it was in. You're not really sure how it got in here in the first place.
Right. Whatever the smoke was, it is gone for now. If it is persistent, it may find its way back. But it will be doing so the long way.
I'm
On a meta level, I am delighted that Carol Hull got to come back, found you guys again, and said, "At last, I shall have my revenge." And then he's just vanished away.
We do not have the time. Go away.
for my triumphant return.
So where do you guys want to go? It's still pitch black out in the garden. Also, you have this strange fire creature with you.
I shoot out some dancing lights down into the room ahead of us, so we can see.
Yeah, dancing lights is one of those things where I would say it was not well designed for Roll20 because I could create multiple torches, but we could barely keep track of one torch.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's on me. I have it. It's mine.
But you could see, I would say you could see by the light of the flaming creature, at least out to some distance.
I believe we should at least spend some time resting.
I agree.
I am quite weary from fighting the giant, and my hair's all burned.
Let us close the door. Or was it like blasted off the hinge? Or
It is now gone. It was blasted off the hinge.
Wait, who blasted off the hinge?
that fucking
These
ghost thing?
The smoke monster.
Oh,
Spend some time mending.
Yeah, that's not going to cut it for this door.
yeah. I think you would need to get every single splinter, put it together.
I like the spell. Never get to use it.
I add these potions to whatever collective pile you guys have. So if you guys need health, there's some potions there.
Collective pile. They
whatever.
barely ever stop to pick up treasure at all. There's entire piles of coins, gems, and jewelry in the room that you saw them in. They didn't even look at those.
We didn't have a chance to.
Yeah,
You
and what
rested-
treasure we
rested
do
for like
find,
8 hours.
Lucirosi gives away.
That's true.
Actually, Zarius will probably look.
Treasure, you say?
I have dragon-like tendencies, so I do like to hoard. Little known fact.
Yeah, it's hard for you to estimate. There are, literally just from the size of the urns in here, probably 200,000 coins, most of which are copper, but a lot of which are silver, gold, and platinum. There's assorted gems, like dozens and dozens of gems, bits of works of art.
I will pick out the gems.
Okay. While you're resting, you're going to pick out the gems.
Yeah.
It's a lot to pick through.
Yeah, fine. I mean, I'll just pick whatever I get, and maybe an occasional platinum.
Are we doing a long rest or just like a short rest?
Well, we only recently woke up. It's only been
Right.
like an hour or two since we woke up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would take a while for you to do a long rest, like another 20 hours or so.
I think short rest is all we got for
so
now.
I'm gonna down the potion of superior healing then.
You could use hit die.
Right.
True.
We have a bard now. We got Song of Rest.
That is true. It's, let's see, what is my hit die?
Oh, that's true, Brendan. I don't think you had picked out equipment. So something to
I
keep in
didn't.
mind.
Yeah, I'll deal with that later.
Right.
What does Song of Rest do again?
Adds a d6.
To each hit die or to
Just the one at the
Just
end.
one.
Yeah. You have to actually spend any hit die to get it. It does specify those who spend their hit die.
21. Sweet. Feeling better.
So whose house is this? I just look around.
This is
Song of Rest is actually D8 at level 9.
Oh, indeed, yeah.
I'll take that then.
I'm not used to somebody getting up to that point.
This is Mordenkainen's house. He was a pupil of mine back in the day.
Does he have something to do with the demons?
No. They are merely using this house because of its magical properties. At least we haven't discovered any connection with Mordenkainen specifically and these demons. Although he does have a demon, a devil as a librarian that he did cajole into it. So I suppose it's not out of the question.
And who are you, Daggerface?
Well, I guess I'm the owner of this place now. I inherited it from an uncle, basically. Dwarven relations are complicated, but apparently I'm the last living descendant of the person who Mordenkainen originally gifted this manor to.
Worried you would say that you're a relative of Mordenkainen.
No, don't really know that much about Mordenkainen myself. He was a human.
Just continue looking around.
By the way, I just sent you the list of things you found.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy to pick out part of what was in this hoard and then try to remember 8 years from now when you're like, hey, what is all this stuff? I'm not going to remember. Oh, you only found 3 of the 8 fire opals. So I'll just say, as a dragon, you are super efficient. And
yeah, I was going to say, I was really good at this.
Yeah, Lucirosi is pretty close to his encumbrance a little bit, so he's probably not going to pick up too much.
Aurelia's going to go over there and look through these, see if she can find any cool gems. Also noticing what Zarius is doing. And we'll point out to him that there's more than just copper pieces in here. That there's silver and gold, and those are more valuable.
I will send you, not counting the coins, the same thing I just sent him. I see you two are just making a pile on the floor of the non-coin valuables.
Yeah, I will separate the copper in case Zarius wants them.
Yeah, you're guessing there may be 200,000 copper alone. So
I probably just toss the copper
while.
behind me, ding. I don't know what's a copper.
What are you doing to the copper pieces?
Yeah, aren't you related?
I have a bag full of copper pieces that I use for funeral rites, but that's about it.
Crick, where did you find these potions?
There was a laboratory with a flesh mound. I just collected them as I walked through. I was a bit worried it was going to attack me,
It didn't stir, did it?
No, it just laid down on its table.
Good to know that it is still dormant.
Yes.
Um,
That the thing which like appeared before, like which we banished, was that the thing which I saw chasing me and the servant?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good. You don't want to bring that one back.
Was that the shadowy one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crick, Lucia Rossi would be interested in the potion of Hill Giant Strength if you were
Just
wanting to.
hand it along. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very warm.
So I take a handful of copper pieces and I hand them to Crick.
I would hold them and then melt them and then just drop it on the floor. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. You also have the things that you found in Mordenkainen's vault. So anybody who wasn't looking for gems might identify some of those.
Which was a Book of the Wand? Like, what's the
Book of the Wand, I would say, that's nothing. I wouldn't say that takes an hour to figure out what it is. It detected as magical, but you would guess just from looking at it quickly that the book itself doesn't have a significant magical effect. The pages, however, are incredibly durable, and you suspect that if anything damaged them, that they would regenerate. So in that sense, it's magical. It's a regenerating, protected book. But otherwise, it seems to contain research notes of Mordenkainen on what appears to be a wand that looks like it's in the shape of a humanoid forearm with a black or purple crystal globe at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it appears to be just research notes.
Of the treasures that we found, the only one that would really strike Lucia Rossi's fancy would be the ring of black metal, the diamonds in it, unless anybody else is partial to it.
Yeah, if you wanted to spend the hour playing around with it, you could probably figure out what it is.
Yeah. Lucia Rossi would probably do that. You need any checks for that?
No, not necessarily. It's a ring of shooting stars.
After Aurelia gave me the copper coins, I'd be like, these ones I think are more valuable, and I would retrieve like I don't know, 20 or so of these fire elemental coins which I've got, and I hand them to you.
Okay. Are they literally on fire?
No, they're just really hard to melt.
Are they electrum?
Hmm.
It's like a whole different currency that Kurt was explaining to me.
Oh.
Well, thank you. I will hold them for Emperor T-Hole.
I will hold anything for Emperor T-Hole as well.
I look back in. Zarius, don't take all the gems, and I run back in there.
Arius just snaps.
Zarius just snaps, but the pile's curiously smaller now. So what is everyone else doing?
T-Hole's thumbing through the Book of the Wand.
Okay, you would guess that reading that whole thing probably would take about 8 hours.
Yeah, so he's reading the preface in as much as he can get. He's particularly drawn to it because there's a personalized message to him on the front of it. Probably not written by the author.
Otherwise, the hour passes. Nothing comes through the doorway. I assume you've like propped the door up as best you can.
I mean, if we can't mend it.
If he wouldn't have done anything.
I think I have any abilities that recharge on a short rest.
PvP. Sarius stops you from getting one of the Star Sapphires.
You want me to roll persuasion, do you?
Yep. Your persuasion versus my insight. Sorry. You go and try to pick one up, and they're gone. Cheeks are slightly chubbier.
I walked in.
Yeah, short rest has ended. Where do you want to go?
Emperor T-Hole, Zarius took all the gems.
Oh, don't worry. The gems are the least of our concerns. This given moment.
Just wanted one. It matched the color of my eyes.
I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can talk to Zarius to get you one gem.
You're so concerned about the gems. Why don't you break one of those gem-crusted corpses, just like that blasted Hellweir?
Mr. Scratches, what's wrong? We had a short rest. You're kind of grumpy.
Have a Snickers.
Not a morning person.
Your hair doesn't look that bad. It'll grow back.
I certainly hope so.
And I go and try to scratch him under the chin.
You're lucky you're a little girl.
Mr. Scratcher should roll deception to see if he can pull off not liking that.
Let's see. No, I don't think that's good enough.
Oh, and by the way, Darius took all the gems. If you could get one for me, I would really appreciate it. The blue one.
I would like look at
I will
Daggerface
have a
and be
talk
like,
with him, child.
Thank you.
Like, Daggerface, are you okay with them taking all your stuff?
Oh, I don't really think of this as my stuff. I mean, I guess I own this whole place, but that doesn't mean I own everything in it. Besides, they nearly died getting through this place. If I had to come in here on my own, I'd have been dead probably in the second room.
Probably before that.
Of course, if I died in the second room, I would go to heaven because I would still have my soul.
Lucirosi goes over to lay a hand on Daggerface's shoulder in a gesture of attempting to comfort him.
It's in good hands with T-Hole, so don't worry, Doug.
The answers are in this book. And when we get a full plate of armor, or someone else to some unwitting person to hold it.
T-Hole, it would be best for you not to continue your statement. We've had our rest. We've caught our breath. We should move on. There are many more horrors within this place that need to be dealt with. For example,
what he means to say, Aurelia, is when he can find someone less important than himself that he can trick into getting killed by the magic flying sword, then everything will be great for him.
You obviously didn't get a short rest either. You're kind of grumpy, Daggerface.
Daggerface, do not dwell too hard on this child. She does not know any better.
Where is your souls?
That is not a point that we need to dwell on right now. You are a newcomer. It is not important to the quest at hand.
I can help you find them.
They are not to be found. They are in our possession at the moment, but they are promised to others. As I said, that's nothing that we need to concern ourselves right now. There is a room out there where there is a strong presence of undead. I don't know if that may have been Karahul or if it's some other creature, but we need to be careful as we move on to the other side of the hallway.
If they aren't fireproof.
So Lucirosi would then begin making his way out of the room towards the hallway.
Should we not lock the vault once more?
Well, speaking of that, who's carrying what? Who's got the treasures?
I picked up
the ring.
I picked up the potion of superior healing.
Right, but you got that from Crick.
Correct.
Right. So in terms of the treasures, we have that box that's made out of the time elemental with the deck of cards in it. There's the 2 magic books. There's a dark red wool cloak. There's a silver choker.
Right. I assume T-Hole has the 2 magic books, although that they are together about 20 pounds of books.
Just weighed down.
T-Hole was once a great warrior.
With a stronger back.
So there's the other items that we found that aren't gems. Might be of interest to people.
I would look around this room and just it looks like I'm disgusted. And I'd be like, this is ugly. And I'd walk up to one of the bushes and start to set it on fire.
Ah! Don't do that.
It's disgusting. It must be cleansed.
Why is it disgusting?
Crick, this is not your home to make those kinds of decisions.
Daggerface, can I get rid of these?
Why would you burn the garden? Actually, as one of the bushes burns and you're having this conversation, water shoots out from the central fountain and puts out the flames.
Oh, just shake my hand. Okay.
Better be careful running through here. You might get splashed too.
Yeah, just be very cautious now. Just trying to stay away from the flowers.
So there were a couple of other interesting potential things here. There's a couple of things of liquid, some vials. There's a couple of scrolls, some scrolls in here too.
There was also the cloak and the box made out of a time elemental, and
That's
another.
back. That was ages ago now.
Well,
Right, but we need to
That's
know
all
who's carrying
treasure.
what. Otherwise, it's going to disappear like the stuff back in the Alcator.
What's the which entry is this under?
Here, I'll
entry?
Like,
Yeah,
is it?
I'll post it. I'll post it.
Yeah, technically under journals, I did put in like a treasured journal, but nobody ever writes in it but me, and I write in the GM section. Right, that's what you found in the vault inside the giant skull.
And I took the ring,
Yeah.
which was the only thing that interested Lucia Rossi.
Also, a funny little tidbit as I was looking through the journals, Kurt was talking to himself when he was talking about languages. Like, no one's going to read this other than me. I thought that was great. I'm guessing that's the same in every section. He's got that little disclaimer at the bottom of it.
If nobody had any objections, T-Hole would take the cloak.
It looks good on you, Emperor.
Well, I did train the mentor, or the head of the Circle of Eight. The least I could get is a cloak.
Did the cloak detect as magic? I forget.
All of these things here detected as magic.
Okay.
Well, since
Nothing nearly so much as the box made out of a time elemental, but everything was magical.
Since the perv guy isn't there, Aurelia will look at the silver choker.
That looks good on you, child.
So yeah, it's mostly made of copper. You would have to spend an hour or so with it to figure out what it does.
Made of copper. It was probably for a slave or something.
No, it's pretty. I mean, it's clearly of a quality that would allow it to be enchanted, so it's pretty fancy.
But they made it of copper, though.
Lots of things get made of copper. It doesn't necessarily mean that it wasn't well made or that it's cheap.
Great conductor.
Yeah, I can't attune to my ring of shooting stars until I'm outdoors at night. I don't think this place qualifies.
It's dark in here. There's like a sky above.
So how big are these ivory drinking horns?
They're about the size of like large mugs.
Oh yeah, she'll take both of those.
I would take the platinum necklace with the opal, but only because Lucia Rossi thinks it's helpful to the people that are facing that plague outside.
Okay. Just so people can track it, the 2 glass bottles with the red liquid, those are magic. The crystal phial with 2 ounces of clear liquid is magic. The glass eye is magic. And the scroll cases are magical in that they protect the scrolls that are inside, and the scrolls are spell scrolls.
So somebody has to remove an eye to put the glass eye in?
Presumably.
Some weird Vecna shit here.
Right. And then you don't necessarily know what the magic is. The magic might just be it matches your old eye color.
Right.
And
And now you can't see through it.
But cosmetically, it looks fine.
Yeah. It's the magical eye of loss of depth perception.
I think of everyone here, I'm guessing T-Hole is the most likely to lose an eye.
Probably.
Are you sure? The bullshit you pull?
I mean, I don't know. Daggerface kind of lost an eye.
Daggerface is not thrilled with hearing this.
I'm going to take the crystal file with clear liquid.
Okay. You determined sloshing it around that it's very thick, whatever this liquid is.
I would be interested in the lava potion or whatever. And I'd be like, this might be a health potion for me.
Yeah, I mean, you can figure it out. It just takes a short rest to figure out what these things are.
And also,
Did Kurt just take on the voice of God there?
It went echoey.
I continue looking around at the fountains. I say, we have to destroy this water.
If nobody else is taking any of the other potions that Crick gave out, I'll take a potion of greater healing.
Actually, you know what? Where were those at? So you gave a superior one to
T-Hole took the superior.
T-Hole?
Yeah. Unless you want it.
Well, I mean, what happens if I go down?
Looks like I get a gem. Oh, did I say that?
These, by the way, it won't take a whole short rest, so I'll assume you leaf through the scrolls so that I can just say what they are. Those are all the scrolls. 3 of them are protection scrolls. The rest are spell scrolls.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay.
Tiny hut. There you go. That's how you study that book.
Who's got the time elemental box?
No one's claimed it yet.
I mean, Luciosi's not really interested in it, but I'll hold on to it. How much does that thing weigh?
About a pound.
Okay.
T-Hole would be interested in it from it's giving off very strong magic vibes type deal. But we're not in any place to actually sit down and really study magic, study whatever we have, so.
Luciosi would be interested in it just because of the box.
The hard one, the only thing I think you probably can't move unless we spend a lot more time on it is the 300 pounds worth of tapestries. Probably
Well, they're not
lugging those around.
They're not magical, right?
They're not magical, no.
We'll leave them here. Since this is Daggerface's new residence, he might want to hang them up.
What do the tapestries?
Holy shit! Wait a minute. I was carrying, according to my character sheet, 250 pounds, and now I know why. Because it aggregated my 40 arrows as not being total 2 pounds, but 2 pounds each arrow.
That's why you never use a bow. Those arrows just they're too heavy to be useful.
You need a ballista.
Think about it though. Now that you've fixed that, like Lucirosi was like you've been having a training weight this whole time. Now you're just really fast.
It's like Goku taking off all of his heavy shit.
Your turtle hermit training.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be worth me having one of these potions just because if I happen to go down, it might be handy for somebody to come over and take the potion and give it to me.
You can have this. You can have the superior healing one. I'll take a lesser one. You're more important in that regard.
Agreed.
So I'll take just like a potion of healing because Lucius has got the greater healing, right?
Yeah. I figure Lucirosi is either going to need them himself because of all the combat he does, or he'll be the best in position to give it to somebody else if need be.
Was this body always out here?
No, it was in the moving pentagram, but it was dragged outside so you could rest the first time.
Yeah, nobody wanted to rest with a dead body in there.
I don't remember. Okay. I will actually set her up and do a proper sort of. Well, I vaguely remember because her soul wasn't like around, but just in case we find some sort of piece for the soul, I will sort of set them up, cross arms, copper pieces on the eyes.
Since we're losing Dustin and I have to go pee, let's take 5 minutes.
Alrighty.
Yo.
Hey.
Everybody took a break?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hey, so when are you thinking about running that one shot?
Probably not till January. Just because it'd be with some work people.
Mm-hmm.
And next week and the week after are basically done for.
Yeah, holidays. I was just wondering because I know I hadn't sent you any of that info, so I want to make sure I had enough time.
Yeah. I had some ideas too. I liked the one shot that you ran about the kind of
just before the actual event of the morning.
Yeah, so I thought that would be kind of fun, but like from like the turning the once virulent place that was the demon wastes and into the demon wastes, like that might be an interesting concept to explore.
Okay, so that would probably actually take place just after the Age of Demons, or just before just before the end of the Age of Demons.
I don't know how that would play out or whatnot, but be kind of fun.
That would be a cool one, because then you could also, because of the time frame, you could have everybody play as dragons.
Ooh. See, that would be pretty fun. I think that would get people like all jazzed up.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to be a dragon?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's kind of the idea that I've kind of taken the most affinity towards. But I don't have as much. I have to do like more research in the background of all that, because that's not an area I'm totally familiar with.
Yeah, it's not an area I'm very familiar with either. I know vaguely that it's kind of made like the terrain is it's a lot of canyons and plateaus, to the point where it's almost like a naturally formed maze. So it's real easy to get lost within there. Yeah, that's other than the fact that there's the Rakshasas and the Carrion tribes and the other tribes that are like the ancient pre Silver Flame Order of the Silver Flame Barbarians. They're that act as guardians. I don't know too much about it other than that.
That might be a fun place to explore in one of your campaigns then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should add that right after the Avernus campaign. Start working on that.
I have a really good idea how to bring it into Eberron. And it would be centered around Thrain. Flamekeep in particular.
Flamekeeper Stenson?
Yep. Arch nemesis.
I was thinking
maybe it will be before he died.
It's his father. He's like 400,000 years old or some shit.
There you go. Just to needle Brendan, make the whole campaign. We're not trying to save like the city. Just Flamekeeper Stenson. He has fallen into hell.
Oh, he has. Oh, good. That's good.
And our job is to save him.
No.
On your other game, this weekend I saw John Huston's Let There Be Light, which is like a 1947 Army, like War Department documentary about World War II veterans who came back with PTSD, which the War Department then immediately said, we are never showing this to anyone because you make our soldiers look crazy in a PTSD documentary.
Wow.
Even though I watched it all hyped up thinking like this is like the documentary the War Department banned. And it's so sympathetic to these people who had suffered these traumas and came back. And they all get better in the end. Like it seems like they all get better in the course of a couple weeks.
It's a whole month, maybe. Got it. Yeah.
Right. But it's actually, I thought, pretty well done. But I was watching it realizing that in your other campaign, Mike, that if I had seen that before, I totally would have been like, oh, I need to play somebody with PTSD from the last war. And then I realized I sort of am, because he's still having, like, nobody can detect his wife, but he still sees her around him.
Yeah.
But it's on Netflix, so if you have a Netflix subscription, it's free.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I might check it out. What's it called?
Let There Be Light. It's only like an hour or two.
That'd be nice. Cool, because that means Kip's running around with Sunny still.
Well, that's in the future of this campaign. This is like 3 years after the Great War.
Oh, was it? When were
Oh
we?
yeah. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right though. Kip he is probably just like smack dab in the middle of his war crimes trial.
He's still saying.
So there you go, Mike. Possible crossover event when we meet Kip and Sonny.
Yeah. Sonny is just learning now to flinch. That response is just beginning. Because, of course, Sonny's not his first mount.
Oh, there you go. And there's a TV series to go with it.
Okay, so other than T-Hole, you are all gathered up at the entrance to Auregia's residence.
Where's T-Hole?
He's right behind.
Oh, okay.
He just hasn't moved. And then he'd be like staring off and then realize that everybody just kind of went on. So he'd follow.
All right. So Lucirosi will start leading the way to the trophy room.
Stay away from the water.
Do we want to
Try to keep that distance.
do we want to lock the vault again?
You sound far away.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Now you're
Hey,
gone.
muted.
Now?
Far away. Is your mic like in your thingy here? Yeah, there we go.
Sure wasn't. Apparently I put it up. I don't remember doing that, but all right. Do we want to lock the vault again?
Bless you.
I think we should. I mean, we wouldn't want any miscreants.
Wouldn't want anyone stealing my tapestries.
Absolutely. By the way, before we would have left, I would have like kind of thumbed through a few of the tapestries just to see what they depicted.
Yeah, let's say you didn't do that because I don't have that open.
Fair.
But you don't say you did.
Yeah, they depict woodland and hunting scenes is all I wrote down.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure if it was like depicting any like great scenes from Mordenkainen's past or whatever. So, all right.
Well, you would guess from even just from the vintage of the coins in that room that these are probably all of this stuff you found in the first treasure room are probably things that Auregia put in there, not things that Mordenkainen put in there.
Okay.
Although this may have been, knowing Mordenkainen as well as you do, you would guess that this was his attempt at a dummy treasure room. So that if anybody did break in, they'd be like, haha, we solved the riddle and found the treasure room. And walk away with like a handful of coins, which he wouldn't have put any real value on anyway. And never notice that there's another secret treasure room.
That's true.
Actually, and then you go through the portal, and then you have to figure out you have to crawl through the nose of the giant skull into yet a third secret room. Mordenkainen was a little paranoid, apparently.
Just a little bit.
But yeah, Daggerface splashes into the fountain. And then he's just like half submerged in the water, discovers that he can't jump super high, so he can't like quite get to the Mordenkainen statue to turn it.
We need to cleanse that pool. Preferably not with him in it.
Crick, you should go help him out.
No. I start to like light a bonfire in the water I don't think it would go through. It'd just be smoke just starting to pour out of the fountain.
Steam.
Yeah, it's just boil them alive. You know.
So I'm purifying him.
His steam isn't hot.
He shall be cleansed.
You should just. There are many enemies in this world, Crick. That water is not one of them. I would appreciate you to stop boiling alive dagger face.
Oh, yes, sorry. Sorry, Master, yes. I just stopped. But I like there's art fire pouring out of my eyes and my hair's lighting up as I look at it.
So when Lucirosi gets in to help, they turn the Mordenkainen statue a bit, and suddenly the sun fires up in the sky. You begin to hear the sound of birds tweeting again. And it sounds as if the garden, it looks as if the garden has come back to life.
It's a trap. We're going to be attacked. I just hold fireballs in my hand.
We're fine. We just we just closed the puzzle or closed the room.
But Lucirosi, give me a perception check.
We are undoubtedly going to be attacked.
Everything is fine.
Oh, you're muted, Lucia.
You're muted, man.
I say I'll shout back. All clear for now. And then waiting for everybody to catch up, Lucirosi would then start moving forward slowly.
Are we leaving already?
Yes, child.
I'm not finished frolicking in the flowers. Oh, well.
You don't want to do that. They'll get all over you.
There'll be more time to do that later. After we've made this place safe.
Make sure.
Lucirosi, as we get to here, he would kind of signal for everybody to stop, and then he would. Oh, wait a minute. There's something up ahead, isn't there?
There sure is.
Yeah, you begin to notice. You might have noticed it further back, but now that you're up this close, you notice that in the middle of the hallway there are, in the middle of what looks like a pile of bones. Off to the side of what looks to be a pile of bones about here, the remnants of what looks like a meticulously disassembled servant. And then in front of it, this pile of just shards of bone and skulls and individual bones.
So servant is right here?
Yes.
That's the slave I was talking about.
You do
Does
that
it appear like servant is dead?
No.
If it's alive, it's in pieces. So
All right, Chewbacca, go ahead and grab the pieces.
None of the pieces appear to be moving.
Do Eyes of the Grave just to see if there's any undead within 60 feet that I can.
Yes, this is the entire field of bones ahead of you seems to be undead.
Do not move any further yet. All of that ahead is dripping with undead magic.
Oops.
Can you dispel it?
Does it seem like one big entity or a bunch of little ones?
What can your Eyes of the Grave detect?
The presence of the undead.
Yeah, I would say this is a hard case. It's hard to figure out even which it should be.
You know the location of any undead within 60 feet of you that isn't behind total cover, and then.
But if the undead is in pieces, It kind of makes it difficult. It sounds because they're all in pieces.
The creature, the sense doesn't tell me anything about the creature's capabilities or identity.
I shall be the fire that cleanses this world, and I shoot a fireball at it.
Oh my god.
It does.
All right, I'm gonna roll initiative, I guess. Fireball. Oh shit. Okay.
Everyone's standing back. It's good. It's the only time I'm ever going to use it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's fair.
Everybody roll initiative.
I think the site's lagging or something tonight. It's crazy, of course.
I mean, this time I'll say everything, including the enemy, is essentially surprised until Quick Noble throws a fireball.
I lost my torch. There we go.
I know a guy
God
who
damn
can
it.
help you.
Oh, Jesus,
Everybody?
son of a bitch. There we go. All right.
I don't see Lucirosi
Wait.
That's a
in
shame.
the,
He rolled
initi-
well,
in the initiative order. I'll just add you then.
Didn't click.
Oh.
Didn't click your character, man.
But I mean, I figured I've been moving my token. Isn't that good enough?
Nope.
If you roll high in initiative, you should know that you haven't clipped your character.
So, what's the damage on your fireball?
It is 26.
As you cast the fireball, oh, good. What's your DC?
15 looks like.
Yeah.
So, sorry, what was the damage? 26?
26, yep.
So this fireball erupts down the hall, and you begin to hear the sound, an almost clicking and tinkling sound as these bones rise up into the air and begin whipping around in a frenzy, flying all around like a cloud, except that you remember these things being shards. They're probably filled with many sharp points. Zarius, it's your turn.
All right, am I still surprised though?
No, this is near the end of the round. Once everybody's seen him go,
Gotcha.
no one's surprised anymore.
I guess let me see here. Is it 30 feet? How far am I from him? 30 feet. Like that area, even this area was lit up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I will tap my staff on the ground twice and then raise it up, and it'll sort of glow for a moment as I turn undead.
So what save does it have to make?
Wisdom would be 16 DC.
It in fact makes it with that roll.
With a 12?
With an 18, it has advantage on turn saves.
Turn resistance. That bastard. He's resistant to turning. I guess that'll be it for now. I can't.
Aurelia.
Yeah. I guess I'll step forward once.
I'm gonna cast Fairy Fire on it.
Okay.
I only get to use my magic item. Fucker. Oh well. I tried to cast Fairy Fire on it.
So anything else? You're inspiring anyone?
I only got 1 inspiration left. We need to hold off on that.
No, you took a short rest, so you recharged them.
I thought it was long rest.
Short rest
it
after
starts
5th
out.
level.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Gotta update that character every few levels.
We're still level 4, right?
Okay, you're still only able to cast magic missile.
Fireball and magic, or firebolt and magic missile.
I mean, not to make too much fun, I do remember a time when T-Hole was just casting fear all the time because he only knew like 3 spells at level 8.
It's like the Wimplo of wizards.
Yeah, I'm gonna inspire T-Hole.
Anything else you doing, Aurelia?
That's it.
All right. So T-Hole or Lucerosi has Regia's sword out and thoughts ready, but he's looking at this thing. He just kind of mutters, "How does one fight a whirlwind?" And he's just kind of looking at it. Does this thing have any kind of point that seems like Lucerosi could strike at it and it might have any kind of effect on this thing?
Not really. There are like you can see some larger chunks of bone flying around in it, but it really is just like a cloud of debris.
All right.
So it's like attacking a swarm of bees.
Right. So Lucerosi is going to just kind of take some time to watch this thing to see if there might be a moment or an opportunity to strike. So I'm just going to hold my action for now.
Okay. T-Hole, what are you doing?
Is this thing loud?
I wouldn't say loud. I mean, it does seem to generate its own wind. So, and you can hear the sound of these shards of bone striking off one another. But, you know, it's certainly not like the sound of a storm. It's more like a light drizzle.
I'm gonna cast a lightning bolt to just strike clear through the storm.
Okay.
So I would move up like 10 feet here and
What's your save DC?
15. Yikes.
It'll take some damage.
Yeah. Let's see.
To be fair, you're attacking like little tiny schmutz flying around in the wind. So it's pretty quick.
Yeah, so he takes 15 fire damage. Or lightning damage.
So you can smell some charring of the bone as the lightning shoots through it and impacts a wall. The wall seems completely undamaged by this. Are you doing anything else?
That'll be all for this turn.
And you see this cloud sort of slinks down the hallway and flies through the door. Quick Neuroble.
So it ran away anyways?
It retreated, seemingly.
Is it round a corner? I can't see that far, but I can see that far because I've got dark vision or whatever.
Right. Well, dark vision.
Oh, is it round the corner or something?
It is. It is around. It ran through this doorway here.
Ping that for me?
Probably off to the side of your screen.
Okay. Oh, what, down that hallway down there? No?
There's a door. You see where I'm pinging?
No, I don't.
No. Is it the one that's?
Oh, there, I see that.
Yeah.
So this one here, yeah, gotcha.
Oh, I see. I'm in the DM view. That's why you don't see it. Yeah, this doorway.
I'm gonna prepare a fireball for when it shows itself again. If I can do that, or an action.
And yeah, you can ready an action, which means, but that means you start to cast the spell and you're sort of holding it, waiting for it to pop up.
Yeah, okay.
But the downside to that is if it doesn't pop up by your next turn, you lose the spell slot.
Well, that's true. Well, then I'll just hold a fireball or something.
Firebolt, yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that's me.
Zarius, it's your turn.
Okay. Well, not really much I can do at the moment. I'll just move forward a little bit. 5, 10, 15. Come on. 20. Nothing down that hall. Quick glance.
You just see the remains of Servant.
20 and then 30. I'll stay there and I'll just dodge. Just in case something does rush out. Give it a disadvantage against me.
Okay. I just picture you just dodging, like as if there's something actually attacking you. Jerking around left and right.
Rolling around in the dirt for no reason.
Right. You're just doing like somersaults and handsprings. Nobody knows why.
From Galaxy Quest.
Aurelia.
Before Aurelia goes, can I use my held action?
Sure.
Okay, so I would probably run up with Zarius, and then I would probably I would use my action to pray to Asheros for any kind of insight in how to fight this creature. So I imagine just making a religion check if I can.
Okay.
Yeah. Asheros is not very forthcoming at the moment.
Good luck.
Asher is just like, punch it. Hit it with your sword.
It was Celestro.
Oh.
So, Aurelia, what are you doing?
I'm going to run up here and look at the remains of Servant.
He appears to not only have been meticulously disassembled, but all of his pieces appear to be organized very precisely.
He's probably too big to carry, right? Like,
Yeah, he would be about, I mean, all told, all of the parts of him would be about 300 pounds.
Okay, so some of the smaller parts I'll collect.
So they are organized by size, so that is pretty easy. So you begin picking up those pieces.
You know, Peter, you have a real knack for playing a little girl with ADHD.
The trick is to be an adult man with ADHD.
Yeah, that's the trick, right?
Luciosi's turn.
Oh, I thought when I hold my action, my initiative changes to where I did it.
I don't really know what my rule is on that. I mean, the readied action thing is its own special rule that I don't really like. So I sort of play that loosely. But
Okay.
at the moment, it's sort of, we're in a weird interim thing where it's off plotting.
Right. So Lucirosi would probably go to be at the forefront then of wherever this thing is, making sure that he's ready for whatever happens. So that's his move action, and then he would carefully move closer. Does he see all these things in the kitchen? Like these guys?
Yeah, those are, you would have, the door was probably closed when you walked past here last time. These appear to be dead bodies splayed out on the floor. There's like just a pile of parts in here in a bucket.
Wait, so is this the same room as the treasure or the trophy room?
Sort of. This used to be identified. It was identified on the servants map as the gallery and trophy room.
Okay. So I will continue to move forward a little bit. Because I think the first time I came up here, I don't know if I saw all these things.
The door may have been closed the first time you came up here. Or open just a crack as opposed to wide open.
Yeah, that makes sense because I was able to see a little bit in this way, but I don't think I saw anything over here. So I think I have a little bit more movement, so I'll come up to the door. And that's probably where I'll stop. And he'll just mutter to himself, by the gods, what is all this?
So we're not like in a full combat right now?
Not at the moment, but you're still in rounds.
Oh, okay. Got it. I'll stay there then.
T-Hole, what are you doing?
I'm gonna cast on Aurelia. I'm gonna cast Protection from Evil and Good.
Okay.
So
Lucirosi, staring into this site, you see on one side there is what appears to be a game room that is filled with what look like hunting trophies, various exotic animal heads along the wall. On the other side, it's almost like a grisly perversion of an art gallery. The bodies that are in here do appear to be somewhat posed. It's just posed by some sort of demented, gruesome mind. But as you watch, as you stare into this room, some of the piles of bodies begin to move and rise up. And one of these shambling corpses steps out in front of you and looks you in the eye, its head sort of bent because the spine won't support the weight of its head completely, and says, "Hold, Paladin. I have information I need to convey to you. You need to leave here now if you wish to live."
I will not listen to the likes of you. And then I'll raise Regia's sword.
You have greater enemies than us, than our Lord. If you wish to defeat Orcus, you will parley now.
And who is it that is your lord?
Vecna. Crick Noble, what are you doing?
I'm gonna march ahead.
Thought you were going to fireball.
Well, yeah, I'll just fire at Lucirosi, clean him up. I'll come up to here and then I'll cast mage armor on myself, and I say like wildfire, and like just flame stuff bursting off me.
Yeah.
More flames, flames on flames.
Just a question. I usually assume if you have mage armor, and if you want to tell me that your standard thing is like at the beginning of every day you're going to cast mage armor, just so you don't have to announce it every time, or use an action every time, because it does last 8 hours.
Yeah.
But so yeah,
I didn't know what else to do this combat, so I'm just gonna put it on.
Yeah, fair enough. Zarius, what are you doing? You could see, you can't quite hear what, well, maybe you can with your perception score. I'll just say you could hear Luciorosi's talking to someone.
Okay. 10, 20, 30. The fuck is that?
What the fuck is what?
This large thing?
Like an undead Etten.
Yeah, as you walk up, you think you see what looks like maybe a two-headed ogre zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And you see there is a zombie standing in front of Luciorosi.
Yeah, I could barely see that. I will... I guess I'll move a little bit further. 5, 10, 15. Does anything seem like it's going to be trying to be hostile right now?
It's hard to say. Some of the zombies appear to be in the process of standing up when you get there. The one in front of Luciorosi seems as if it was who Luciorosi was just talking to. But, because they're zombies, it's not like they're holding weapons.
Right. Then I can't really do much else. Where's the go here? So it looks like that room is lit up, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna sort of toss the torch down a little ways, just so I could light up the end of the hall.
Okay.
But otherwise, not a huge fan of zombies, but I don't have much I can do. So I'll just I'll step just behind Luciorosi, and then that'll be it for now.
Okay. Aurelia, what are you doing?
I'm going to move up here. Can I see anything from this? Barely see anything?
you should be able to see whatever it is you're able to from there. So probably not much because the wall is sort of blocking your view through the door frame.
Yeah, I can see like
A sliver.
a sliver of a corpse. Okay. Yeah, that's all I can do. I will inspire Zarius.
Okay, Lucirosi.
Asheros has blessed me with insights. I will not make the same mistake twice. And he roars into rage and then begins to attack the creature. So now I have my rage on, but not radiant soul. So,
Yeah, too bad that is a nat 1, because otherwise those both would have hit.
So with the first one, I surprisingly have one level 1 spell slot left. So I'm going to use Smite.
So
That's not 2 plus 13. That's just a 13.
yeah. First, let me roll for their initiative, so I didn't get them. But all right, let's see what happens. So you completely lay into this thing. You think you've demolished it and it's half knocked to the floor, but despite the grievous injuries you put into it, it stands back up and is staring at you with lifeless eyes.
Yeah, Lucirosi stares back at it, and in his particular language goes, "Come at me, bro."
T-Hole, it's your turn.
Teal's gonna come up where all the fun's at.
Forgot to roll for Daggerface too.
See, that's as far as I can make it. And then I'm going to cast True Strike on Crick. That'll be my turn.
Okay.
I'm now realizing that it was very much in character for Lucirosi to use his Divine Smite on this thing, but as a player, I'm realizing it probably would have been better to save it for the two-headed ogre zombie.
Yeah, there's actually that flying swarm of bones is probably the thing to have saved it for.
Yeah.
So this, you see in the back of the room, the clattering swarm of bones lifts stuff off the floor. Seems to have contracted somewhat. And it flies over into the game room, making it to about there. Yeah, sure, why not? A ray shoots out from the center of the cloud, like a purple mist begins to form within the cloud of bone shards itself, coalesces into a ball and fires out at Lucirosi.
Just the 9 necrotic?
Yeah, just a 9 necrotic.
And
I
can't
have
heal you.
resistance.
And the zombie's gonna go. So the zombie in front of you attempts to slam you. Oh my god. I did not expect the zombie to do that well. 3 bludgeoning damage. This is a banner day for zombies everywhere.
And I have resistance.
Welcome to 20
What you needed was that heavy armor mastery, so she
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
take anything.
So the bigger Etten zombie walks up. It appears to have a battle axe in one hand and a morning star in the other.
Oh, shit! God damn it!
Oh,
What?
Zarius.
Zarius just
Zarius so
sneaks,
good.
sneaks through everything.
Want some?
But it gets up at the edge of
Zarius says clipping off.
it gets up at the edge of the door frame and also attacks.
Now, because of its position and the door and the zombie there, could I get cover?
Yeah, I would assume that you get a +2. I assumed for the chill touch too that you had +2 to your armor class
Okay.
because you're in the door frame. So I still think the 22 hits.
Yeah, it does. So
The other zombie really can't make it into position. This one's going to have to go around the pool table. He's not going to make it into position either. So the zombies are bunching up. You essentially have a bottleneck here.
we've created a choke point.
Yes.
Is it my turn?
Yes, it's your turn.
Good. Yeah. Oh, look at all them zombies in a great big pile. Oh boy, whatever will I do? Here comes a
Everyone
pile.
duck.
Fireball.
Calm
Oh,
down, Pitbull.
Actually, I'm going to use some of my sorcery points to get rid of those ones. So,
Oh, that's great.
so yeah, I'm going to use 2 of my sorcery points to reroll 2 of those d8s.
What the hell?
Double zero. The best football player.
Except you're rolling D6s, not D8s.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. 2 d6s. Thank you. Oh boy. Oh well. One of them's better.
So, the problem with zombies is the ones who otherwise should be dead now get to make other saves.
For fire.
Yes, even for fire.
It's a cleansing fire.
Yeah, I think the only time they don't get it is on a
Like
crit
this.
or radiant damage.
Oh yeah, radiant. That's fine.
I feel bad wasting the advantage, but
Okay. Anything else you're doing?
nope. That's me.
The zombie right in front of Lucerosi has burst into flames and has collapsed, but the other ones appear to be on their feet. Zarius, your turn.
Okay. Let's see here. What kind of damage does this do? Perfect. I'm going to cast Spirit Guardians.
Nice.
And then, yeah, so Lucirosa, you're going to come up soon, but I don't want to. I would probably want to get in there to be able to hit them all. I can take a hit. So.
Well, just follow me because I plan to go right here and start punching and swinging.
Well, I mean, I have to do it right now. I can't hold my movement.
Can't you push through? Or isn't that a thing you can do, but reduce movement?
You could move right through Zarius' spot and get there. The Etten would get an attack of opportunity.
I'm fine with that.
It'll use its battle axe. Oh, it missed badly.
I just walk. What's wrong with this guy?
But in a parallel universe, it got a 25. So
The heads were confused. One thought it was aiming at me.
Alrighty. So yeah, I have stepped in. So that's that for now.
Daggerface, realizing he's being left behind. He makes it to there and is winded. Aurelia.
Well, wait a minute. Doesn't Spirit Guardians activate immediately?
It activates on their turn.
Start of their turn.
When the creature enters the area for the first time on a turn, not their turn, or starts its turn there.
Yeah, usually with the starting of a turn there, it implies that
they move into it, not it just forms around them.
Otherwise, they'd get hit with it twice before they get a chance to even move. Kind of a dick move.
That's balanced.
The other sort of wording is whenever you first cast the spell, they take it, and then they have to the end of their next turn to move out of it.
Yeah, I like Mike's version better.
All right. I'm going to cast Vicious Mockery on that zombie. The one right behind the one that just died.
Hey.
See if it works.
Does the creature have to have some sort of level of intelligence for it to work?
The target can hear you, though it not need understand you.
Okay.
Unless it's deep.
I don't know. Ears aren't in very good condition.
Yeah,
whoa.
Roll for ears.
You apparently got the one with no ears.
All right. That's my turn.
It's Lucirosi's turn.
All right. I move in here, and then I'm going to make all my attacks against this guy, the big one. So.
They all hit.
Excellent. So that's 11 plus 24. So that's 35 plus 9. So that's 44 damage to that guy. That's my turn.
Okay, as you hit into it several times, you realize that the Etten zombie is, unsurprisingly perhaps, much more robust than the regular human zombies. As this didn't, that probably you would think would have completely diced one of the other zombies. Keyhole.
Teal's going to move 30 feet, which is about 5 more feet.
Oh, by the way, Kurt, if you were suggesting anything about magic damage, remember that the sword's magical.
Yep.
If any of that was for resistance or anything.
I'm going to cast... I'm going to cast a True Strike on Aurelia. Just buffing people.
I would just point out that since bards don't have any spells that require an attack roll.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that was just attack and it wasn't like... Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Since Crick already has it, then I would cast on Daggerface because he's the only other person I can see.
Oh, Daggerface hasn't gone. He's not on here.
He's up in the hallway still.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's still running forward.
He's making his way over with his little legs.
Natural sprinter.
He needs to get that dwarven feet that gives him extra movement.
And that's my turn.
So the swarm of bones just flies up over everyone and settles down over Zarius and Lucirosi.
Hey, make a wisdom save.
Yep. Fails.
Bam.
And you can see it is fighting its way through the circle of spirits around you. But as it settles in...
it is difficult terrain.
Right. It's still able to make it. It's not that far for it. So it makes
Who was that?
AC against both of you.
Could I use cutting words?
Yes, you can.
That's a D8, right?
Yep. Pretty sure a 1 would cut it.
That's fine.
Well, it needs at least a 2. So it settles in, and you feel these sharp-tipped shards of bone begin to assault you, and you feel as if you might be in serious trouble for a second when you hear the cutting words of Aurelia in the distance right behind you. And the swarm seems to back off slightly and rear back at whatever it is, whatever word she whispered that only it could make out. What terrible secret does she know about the swarm? What pictures does she have possession of?
She just said, I eat crud like you for breakfast.
And the zombies, which seem... This one's dead, actually. I should mark this one off. The zombies, which seem unfazed by the swarm, begin to move around. The Etten zombie now doesn't have to deal with the -2, so if it had...
No, but they all have to do spirit guardians.
That's true.
Those guys that just have 1 hit point, they're probably dead.
Yeah, they had to make 2 saves. Etten zombie failed. Yeah, actually, the zombies probably all just burst into flames from the friction of the spirits whizzing around them.
This time I'm actually imagining a couple of, or like dogs.
That's true. The spirit guardians is that's radiant damage, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So they don't have to make 2 saves; they just die.
They is dead.
But the Etten zombie still lives for the moment. So it attacks at Lucirosi and misses twice. Crick Noble
So,
or Neroble.
yes.
It was a narrow play.
No, Roble. Anyways, so can I hit the bone thing? Like, is that a thing that I could do?
I would say you probably can't just launch a fireball in and only hit the bone thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. What about if I like shot a chromatical or a fireball or something?
That you could do, but it would have cover, so +2 to its AC from ranged attacks because it's enveloping these two.
Yeah, I've got advantage, so I'll give it a crack. We'll shoot a chromatical at it. That one.
Oh, that hit.
And I shoot fire.
So you can see some of the bone shards go flying out of the cloud, smoking as they go.
Yeah, that's the rest. That's my turn.
Zarius.
Do I get the sense that if I were to back up a step, I might provoke something from this bone thing?
5 feet? No, you wouldn't be attacked.
Okay. Then I shall do that. Am I still like close to that effect, or?
Yeah, you've just stepped out of the cloud, so
Okay.
you're adjacent to it.
Okay.
You do know it was much bigger than when it was in the hallway, so apparently it can expand and contract
Right.
as it feels it needs to. But you're out of it at the moment.
Okay. Then spot for this. If I keep moving, I might provoke.
Yes, you might.
Yeah. And we saw what that motherfucker could do. So, boy. Let's do, I think I should be able to like point an acid breath to where it doesn't splash Lucirosi, but like hit the other two because they're kind of like at a weird angle. If I were to like,
Right. I would think if you spend like 10 feet of movement, you can get up on top of the billiards table and then do it.
I could do that. I'd do that. And then yeah. Let's see, what was it? That's acid breath. DC 14, Dex.
Where's the bone thing?
Fail. Nice. They both take 13 acid. And then I think I might. No, I'll wait. That'll be it.
Outside you hear. Then he can't get past Lucirosi. Aurelia.
So the bone swarm is above them, or is like in?
It's
Intermixed?
enveloped. It's enveloped Lucirosi. Zarius, who you can't see from that angle, has stepped out of it. So there is a portion of the swarm is away from them both.
Okay. But the Etten is there, right? Obviously.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna cast Vicious Mockery on the Etten.
So it failed. But it still has a very positive self-image, so it holds up.
Oh, I ain't done yet.
Lucirosi.
Okay. Can I actually? Do I get a sense that I could strike out at this swarm with the sword and do anything?
You suspect you would do something. The magic of the sword would do something.
Okay. So I'm gonna strike it twice with the Regia sword, and then I'm gonna punch one of the Etten heads.
Okay.
I'm gonna use prayers just for shits and giggles to see what happens.
So you swing the sword through, and you do see some of the shards of bone fly out of the air and skitter into corners. It's not quite as effective as it might have been against the flesh and blood creature, but it definitely had some effect.
And then prayers was at the Etten, or whatever it is.
Right, and that definitely connects.
That's my turn.
Yeah, the Etten still looks like it's pretty intact, but you're beginning to see it's falling apart. T-hole.
So T-hole will walk forward 5, 10, 15, 20 feet ish, and notice that the entire room is blocked. Well, you can move. You can move through allies, right?
Yes.
So
It's a question of where you want to wind up. You can't end your movement in an ally.
let's see. I started about here.
About here.
Yeah. So
I mean, you could probably get to here or here. Either way, you'd be standing in the middle of a flying bone swarm.
Which did 63 damage last time it tried to hit us.
Hi, metagamers. It did no damage the last time it entered into your space. It's perfectly safe as far as you know.
Come on in, T-hole. The bone shards are nice. Like a massage.
All right. So I guess from here I would cast True Strike on Lucirosi.
Okay.
At the risk of shooting like spells in front of everybody. You're trying to dodge around them.
The bone chart expands outward towards Cesarius.
Yeah, well, I don't let it.
And then it attempts to penetrate your defenses.
But first, Spirit Guardians.
Yeah.
Right, Spirit Guardians. Actually, this could be vital. Made it save at least.
Yeah, so half damage.
8. Yep, so the prior roll stands. 25 AC attack, 58 piercing damage.
Got any more of those cutting words?
What do I need to roll?
I think even with your max roll, I don't think it would work.
5 or higher, you could definitely roll that on a D8.
But it's hitting both of us, right? Me and
Right.
Darius.
Right, but the cutting words would still reduce its 2-hit roll.
If you roll a 6, you save me.
Do it.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Lucia Rosie was only talking about himself. It's not worth it, Aurelius. Save the inspiration point for me.
All right, cutting words.
No.
Lucia Rosie told you.
All right, so I take
half that.
25 plus.
Oh, we have to. That's right. 29. We have to make a
29.
save, don't we?
Yes, and you have to make a Constitution save.
You get a +3 though, because you're within
right.
my aura.
So before the save, there is the 58 damage, right?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
It's insane.
And then
Con
save.
Yes.
Oh, fuck me.
You want to use an action point?
I am going to use an action point. It's what, DC 15, right? Yeah.
I will point out, I like to end this thing around 12:30, so we ain't going after this fight. Saving your action points isn't going to do you much good.
Well, I agree. Me.
God damn it. All right. Use my last action point. So this is why you save action points, huh?
Hoarding.
There we go.
There you go.
What's the aura bonus? 3?
+3.
Yes.
Yeah, try this. I will indeed do an action point here. Ugh.
Oh boy.
The same damn thing.
Do you want to use your last action point?
I'm gonna say, no for now, because I want to see if. Well, let's see here. Hold on. What's the save I got to make this keep concentration here? Half of 58.
DC 26.
26.
God damn it.
Darius, you do have inspiration from me.
That is true. That's with inspiration, I might be able to make that save for concentration, but otherwise I cannot. So I'll use it on this. So 9 plus. I currently have a 12. I'll add a D10.
And
D8.
It's a D8. You need a
D10
15.
next level. Yeah. Alrighty.
So you made your Constitution save.
Perfect. And then, I can't make a 25 or 26. I can make a 25.
I would give it to you if you rolled a natural 20. You might as well.
All right. Fuck it. Why not? Oh, well, look at the second one.
The second one is just there to mock you.
Hey, you got one more action point left, right?
No, he spent both of them.
No, he used both.
Oh, both of them. Oh, yeah.
That's the real vicious mockery.
So you see, being hit with these shards of bone, all of which you notice now seem to be covered in blood themselves already. They begin to tear through the scales of Zarius, which causes enough pain that the spirits circling around him begin to fade away and fly off into different directions.
No, I didn't use my second action. I just used the one.
That's Lucirosi after he's gotten hit by that.
It's like an elephant.
So you rolled in, maybe I'm mistaken. Okay.
Yeah, I just rolled the once and then I added the inspiration. And that second one was for...
Okay.
I mean, I'll use an action point to get that 20.
If you want to use the action point, that's fine.
if it'll let me succeed.
If you roll a 20, it would succeed.
I mean, I got one right there.
Oh, yeah.
Already on the screen.
That's just to pick that one.
Then I'll wait.
What if he used all these action points for next session?
See, here's the thing, though. Next session is probably like the last fight of the Manor. So that would actually be, might not be the best move.
I'm not Mike.
So the Etten is going to make its saving throw. Oh, that's right. It
doesn't have to.
Way to rub it in, Kurt.
It will just attack.
The Etten has disadvantage on its first attack.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
All right, so then
It's very secure.
-9. And then -7. All right. I have a whopping 6 hit points left. Bring it on, bitches.
Quick Neroble. Or not Roble.
Vecna, so you're going to say it with the hair as well. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to fire a chromatic orb down the hole over everyone's heads again. That one.
Yep.
Did you ever use your advantage?
Yeah, I
You
did.
Oh.
And I did a fresh 7 damage.
That misses.
Oh,
15. Unless you have like inspiration or something. Or you
I
want to use
do
an
have
action
one of
point.
them. Yeah, I do have an inspiration. That's right. Or an action point. That's what I mean. Action point. Yeah. Does that one hit?
That one also misses.
Well, you're all dead.
Unless you want to use your inspiration.
Was I inspired?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But I do have one more action point, so. And that one misses. Okay, I get it.
That one misses too.
I get it. You want everyone dead. All right, I act.
Sadly, if it hadn't been, it only has an AC of 16, but it has cover from where you are.
Yes.
So the 17 missed. Zarius, it's your turn.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I really don't know. It's really only.
I mean, I would
really
say
only
that
the two of us has been hit.
Right. I would say you, given that you're like an experienced adventurer, you're not 100% sure that it could take an attack of opportunity if you backed away from it because it's like a cloud. And you're 100% sure that it can't just stretch itself out indefinitely.
Right.
So if you were to retreat, it might not be able to follow you and continue to attack Lucirosi. It might stop attacking Lucirosi and decide to follow you instead, but
It depends on what your next choice is.
Yeah. I don't have great, like, phenomenal options right now.
Can't you just cast Spirit Guardians again? That was pretty awesome the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I can. Yeah, I probably will. I was thinking that or another attempt to turn undead. But
They have advantage or whatever, don't they?
the one does, the bone fucking thing, cocksucker does. I'm sure the Etten might actually die, just straight up, but if he fails. Main thing, I only have so many spell slots. But I'm gonna do Spirit Guardians again.
Okay.
And then shift a little here. Oh, not that close when I'm done. We'll go this way. And where is Lucirosi? He's right there. Okay, so actually I might go ahead and go here. And fuck it. I'll use my last action points to cast another spell here. Unless yeah, it's fine. I'm gonna do Word of Radiance on them. So it's 5 foot radius. So looks like they're both within range of that. And Luciroshi is just out of it, so they both have to make a con save. What the fuck off?
No one can stop the Bone Collective.
All right, well, that failed, so that's something. It's not nothing.
No, I'll just keep moving. No, wait, hold on. I got to make sure I'm within my 15 foot. Yep. All right. All right. I'll stay there. It looks like it's just within range of the Spirit Guardians, so
yep.
I'll just hang out right here.
Daggerface, seeing that you're in trouble, and now that it has the movement, will run through Lucirosi's space, leap over the body of the zombie, and land here, and then he probably would swing at the Etten with his axe, because that's the enemy he sort of understands better how to chop.
He's oh, okay, yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Something in there.
He chops into the zombie, and the zombie falls over, dead.
Excellent.
Or deader, at least.
Full dead. Everyone's dead, Dave.
Aurelia.
All right. So I can see the bone swirly things.
Hey, get away from
I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers on it.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Is that a wisdom save?
I believe so, yes.
So I think it failed.
Yeah,
but you don't
16.
You don't have your DC up. So what? Yeah. It has to use its reaction to move. Its movement.
Must immediately use its reaction, if available, to move as far as its speed allows away from you.
Okay. So Lucirosi, when it gets to here or so, you get to make an attack of opportunity. as does
Okay.
Daggerface.
Yeah.
And then because it's moving, does it have to do Spirit Guardians?
No, it's on its turn. This isn't its turn. It's just a reaction.
Boo. All right. Well, whatever.
That hit. And so it is off over in this corner.
Nice.
And it's Luciosi's turn.
That should do it, Lucius.
All right. Right there. And continue to hit it. I'm realizing that probably wasn't smart to let it come to us so that the Spirit Guardians works, but you know, Luciosi's in battle rage right now.
Yeah, and to, you know,
He's not thinking clearly.
Run into the cloud rather than attack it from outside the cloud. It was an interesting choice. Technically, by the way, this bear is about 9 feet tall, so you really have to run around the bear.
Well, then I'm more here, I guess. Maybe
Yeah.
here. I don't know. Which one makes more sense?
That one would at least put you outside the cloud. That's something.
Yeah, okay. We'll do that. Did any of them hit?
The first one hit. The second two missed.
Yeah. Okay.
That's T-Hole's turn.
All right, so Teal's going to step in. 5, 10-ish.
Well, that would be 15 because you've hopped up on a pool table.
Yeah, 15. And then I'm going to cast a fireball into this. Into this
Oh, he was
square
talking
here.
about your fireball plan.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
damn. Fortunately, this actually won't hit him because the 20-foot radius will hit like this square here. I'm gonna upcast it.
Sorry, my cat made it like halfway up the tree.
Quitter.
All I can say is he is very lucky that bear was super tall, or else there would have been no way for you to fireball into this corner
No.
without hitting him. Oops. So what's your damage?
Let's see. 9d6. So that'll be 18 fire damage.
Yep. And it's its turn.
Is that considered an ability check?
No.
Okay. So it's
And also as a fireball, there's a bunch of things that would be flammable. So that giant bear is probably now on fire.
Cool.
You have consistently found that things in this manor don't burn very easily, which is probably part of the magic of the manor. Precisely because you don't want to be on the astral plane inside a building that's on fire.
There.
As a magic user, you probably use a lot of fire.
And you have like a lot of friends who are wizards, so they're going to be using a lot of fire.
You're playing drinking games. You don't want anybody to get a little too out of wild.
No. I hate to be a dick, but this creature would be a dick. It's going to envelop Lucerosi.
Yeah, I know.
That's what Lucerosi would have wanted.
Obviously. Ran fuck over there.
Lucerosi is just like like fucking the Flash with Regia's sword. Pow, 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 blocking all that shit.
Its attack, however, is ineffective.
Yeah.
So what will it do then? It's going to use the rest of its movement.
Does that provoke an attack of opportunity?
Yes, it does.
Ha! That looks like it's in my range. I don't know.
It would definitely, it can squeeze.
Yeah.
So it would definitely squeeze down, but it's within.
I figured.
You do manage to chip away a few more bone shards from it.
Okay, cool.
As it flies away. But yeah, it sort of squeezes to stay out of the range of the spirit guardians and only makes it to about there. Actually, it makes it to about there. Zombies are gone. So, Cricknerobal, it's your turn.
Oh, cool.
You're in.
So, yeah, I'm in the hallway. I have to charge 20. It'll be like fucking 30 of them up there. Can I shoot this thing?
Yes.
Is it got cover or anything? Yeah.
It does have cover relative to where you are from T-hole and Daggerface being in the way, but you can still shoot it.
Shoot a 5-volt at it.
That misses.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to not hit Daggerface, you pull slightly too far to the left.
Far out. Okay. I think that's me then. Let me just double check. Where's my better magic too? Careful. Nah, that's nothing. Okay, don't worry. I'm done.
Zarius, it's your turn.
Yeah. I will take a couple steps forward here. Make sure it starts within my radius. And then I'm going to go ahead and borrow a little power from Ra and call down some sacred flaming light from the sun into this weird place. Deck safe. See what happens. Fuck off.
Sunlight comes down, but it is still a swirling cloud, and so able to maneuver around the rays. But it will have to start within the radius of your sacred or spirit guardian. Daggerface.
I'm going to laugh if Daggerface is too far away to.
No,
no, Daggerface is within range.
Daggerface actually hit twice. So Daggerface is able to, the cloud is actually, it's just a few wisp of bone shards at this point, but Daggerface comes and knocks a few more chunks out of it. Aurelia.
Go with the old standard, vicious mockery.
Let's see.
Nice.
What was your damage? 8?
Yep.
So you hear there is a sort of a hollow, whispery scream that comes almost like the whistling of the wind that's holding up the bone shards as the vicious mockery comes in. Slowly, the thing makes its way over to this bloody handprint, this enormous bloody handprint, and you hear, "Vecna, take me back into your body." and all of the bone shards just skitter to the floor and stop moving. It's dead.
Yeah.
You won.
We did it.
Hooray. Now, what the hell room is this? And I just look at Daggerface and be like, did you do this?
And I will consume that potion of greater healing that I got. Because I am beat.
So now that you have a chance to look around, you realize that this is the room that the servant had marked off as the game room and trophy room. And you're not sure as to what sense this is. The one side is a gallery, but perhaps at one point it was an art gallery and someone turned it into some perverse version of an art gallery by staging corpses all around. The game room, sort of obviously enough, and you gather these are the animal trophies. The boar, despite the usually flame retardant nature of this place, the boar's head is severely burned from taking the full brunt of a fireball, being right at the center of the effect. But the room is now deathly silent.
So is the hand on the floor, is that like blood?
It looks to be blood, but you'd have to inspect it. I mean, it from a distance, it looks like it could be blood.
I'm gonna stand sort of in the central area and do another Eyes of the Grave, checking for any other additional undead that might just be playing dead.
You don't detect any undead.
Meanwhile, Lustrosi's going to limp over back to the group. He's covered in blood and cuts all over his body. Ow.
You fought well.
I've done better.
What was that thing?
Thought this was your house.
I have never been in here before, and I don't know anything about demons or devils or Vecna.
Your servant did.
Some undead servant of the false god Vecna.
Yeah, before the zombies attacked, they tried to parlay, claiming to have some information about stopping Orcus. So
Naturally attacked.
I am not going to repeat the mistake that I made when I came into this manor. If it is evil, then it must be struck down, and I must follow my instincts. But at least this tells us that Vecna and Orcus are not teaming up as I may have feared, since Auregia is a emissary of Orcus. I believe Paradana serves Vecna.
It could have been a ruse.
Yeah, why don't we ask her boyfriend? Does your girlfriend serve Vecna? Oh, I'm sorry to break the news to you, Aurelia, but yeah, Paradana is his ex, or I assume ex, maybe current.
We went way back.
What are you
Paradana.
talking about?
Paradana.
You see, when I was a young lad and prior to really entering my manhood, I had a crush on Paradana.
He was two-timing your mom. That's what he's saying. He's saying he was two-timing your mother.
And, you know, we were a thing and life happened. And then last time I saw her, she was a bit different.
I don't understand. How can he be two-timing my mother when he could have all the ladies? What's the big deal?
He was
He is
a
right.
1,000 timing your mother then.
Well, he's Emperor T-Hole.
You need to learn to stick up for yourself there, Aurelia. To have some standards.
Yes, and Daggerface, let's not give T-Hole too much credit. At best, he was two-timing her mother.
I mean, that was a long time ago. It was before the Empire.
Is Aurelia your daughter? I just look quizzical.
I'm pretty sure. If she isn't, then she's the daughter I never had.
Okay. A lot of my flames like start to go down, and I just walk over here and just look at stuff.
Well, I, for one, hope that you are not her father and that her mother was two-timing you.
Yes.
How dare you, sir?
Well, the past is the past, and whoever two-timed whoever, it's the water under the bridge at this point.
So Daggerface walks over and is looking over Lucirosi's wounds. If we have to go and fight Orcus, I hate to say it, but another tactical retreat may be in order until you can be patched up.
Yeah, I agree, Daggerface. This is getting seemingly outside of our capacity. But hold on, I want to check something out. And then Lucirosi will go and examine that handprint using his divine sense.
Okay. As you sort of reach out, you close your eyes and begin to pray, you get a sense of almost like an echo of a great evil that was here. And you imagine a giant skeletal hand dripping with blood coming down from outside, passing through the walls of this manor and leaving that print as it first gained a foothold here in the manor.
Could Lucirosi do any kind of ritual or kind of purification rite around it? I mean, I don't know if it'll have any kind of effect on it, but he would at least want to do something of the sort to try to sanctify that area to prevent any further defilement of this place.
There are prayers that you could say that essentially try to call upon Asheros to hallow this ground. It's not as effective as like a hallow spell, or even a ceremony spell is probably more innately powerful. But Asheros might smile upon you.
So Lucirosi would engage in that sort of thing, kind of walking around it, saying this prayer, making hand signs in reference to Asheros.
Zarius would probably actually start sort of arranging the bodies to perform as, little funeral rites on them.
Do you realize as you're going through them, some of them are just like individual posed bodies, but like up near the doorway, there is essentially just a barrel full of body parts that are all putrefying in this collection. There's, piles of skulls. So there are probably, all told in here, the remains of a few, maybe 50 or 100 people. It's that hard to tell. But you begin to say rights over them.
Yeah, I mean, the barrel, I suppose I might call down Word of Radiance. Or not Word of Radiance, but
Sacred Flame.
Sacred Flame, yeah. Sort of purify by radiance.
So you begin to, I guess, irradiate. I don't know what the verb would be on that.
Sanctify, purify.
There you go. So you begin to spiritually burn the evil and rot out of these things.
But if it has like a whole body out, then perform a normal rite.
Right. Yeah, there are plenty here that have full bodies, including, like you see in the back, there's like some sort of small dragon that's posed against some sort of flying knight-like creature. There's a knight on a horse. There's an Ettin's body, amongst others.
Yeah, all these bodies. I mean, I have to go back and get some more of those copper. I did grab some just for this sort of reason.
So, what are we doing next? Where are we going to rest? Are we going back to the residence? I don't know if I want to rest in here with all these bodies and the evil handprint.
No, I do not think that would be wise myself. And Regia's room is no longer viable since the destruction of the door. The servants' quarters that we encountered, they're far too small for many of us. Perhaps it would be best, especially given knowledge of the fact that we may face the emissaries of Orcus and Vecna and may even be caught between. For the time being, it might be the wisest choice to go back to the chapel. At least there may be some ability to assure our protection by the hallowed relics within that room.
I jump back from this bear, and I'm like, what is going on? And I throw a firebolt at it.
The firebolt hits it, but it's almost as if the firebolt fizzles out before it even contacts the surface of the bear.
I don't like this place. It's almost as if everything's covered in that dirty water.
Don't we have to go back through the lab to get to the chapel?
Yes.
Well, Crick said that Hansi had still been unresponsive. It may still be such.
Well, actually, Crick said that Hansi had laid down because when Crick was in there, it walked in and then laid down.
Oh.
That's it. Daggerface would add, I don't even care. Hansi seems like he was just the nicest fella I've ever met after being up on the second fucking floor.
Yes, I do believe that we have worse things to worry about.
The chapel seems reasonable to me then.
Yes, let's return to its sanctified glow.
So after you finish administering rites to the bodies up here, Crick, I assume, just is keeping an eye on that bear.
Yeah.
Although the bear doesn't in fact move. You make your way down to the first floor, and going through the alchemical lab, you see Hansy is there laying back on the table once again, and looks relatively undamaged, as if it hadn't really been in a fight with you. But otherwise, the lab itself is still a shambles, and there's still puddles all over the floor. You do see that some of the bottles from the shelves are missing, probably the ones that Crick took when he was in here. But you make your way back into the chapel. The chapel appears just exactly as you left it. And that's where we'll end this session.
All right.
Yeah, we are. I wasn't sure if you were going to reach the end of the adventure today, because technically you could have just talked to the Bone Collective and then moved on to the last room. But you're essentially down to one room to explore in the manor at this point. So the next session will probably be the last one in the manor. Unless you like have a fight and then retreat and long rest and then save the final fight. But this will be another time when, in order to get a long rest in, you're probably going to have to be in the chapel again for about 18 hours or so, because you have to wait for 24 hours to elapse before you can take a second long rest. Except for Crick. Crick can long rest at any moment.
I'm ready.
Well, I think that'll be a good opportunity for us to start actually identifying a lot of these items that we've managed to find.
And that'll
should
be
also
good.
give.
That'll be good to do over email. Like we can, because there's enough time that I can say you're just probably going to identify everything, except that without actually, unless you want to open the box, the time elemental box, you're not going to realize what the deck inside is.
I'm gonna work on that horn.
Right.
And yeah,
So
I may.
I can
I'll
send
probably
you-
examine the time elemental box since I'm the one holding it.
So I'll send you a list of what everything is. On scheduling, 2 weeks from today is Christmas Eve, so I won't be around Christmas Eve. The week after that is New Year's Eve, so I won't be around New Year's Eve.
Fair.
So I don't know. I don't know about Christmas week rescheduling at this point. I'm probably going to be with family the whole time. So it might be 4 weeks before we meet up again. But if we can reschedule, once I know what my schedule is, we can discuss that. I don't know what other people's schedules are either.
I'm pretty much free that entire week of New Year's, except for New Year's Eve, obviously.
Technically, New Year's Eve is your other game.
Yeah, but I think it would be fine to kind of switch that one up a little bit, since we'll be playing next week, and then ostensibly we'll be waiting 2 weeks for your game potentially, and then it would be about 2 weeks for my game, so it would even out.
I mean, for me at least, New Year's Eve, we always do something, but it's not like it's always super late. So New Year's Day is usually pretty low key for me. I'm not that interested in parades. So if people want to play New Year's Day, like in the afternoon, I could easily do that.
Oh, that would be actually pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, usually I'm just hungover New Year's Day, so.
And then we can get we could do a longer session because nobody has to worry about going to sleep.
Right.
New Year's Day.
Yep.
Well, I see what you mean. I might be able to do something. I still have children I got to deal with. And a wife.
Don't they have work or something? Don't they go to work?
Yeah.
Or just, give them a
Work in the
shot.
mines.
Give them a shot of tequila, send them to bed early.
Yeah, and Benadryl. Don't forget the Benadryl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kurt, I'm curious. Are you planning to continue to run this game even after we finish in the mansion?
Yes, I have things planned for after the mansion.
Cool.
I have ideas planned for I don't know if you're going to follow all of the threads, but I have possible ideas for different things you might wind up doing. I think after the mansion, I have a hook. I certainly have a hook for Lucia Rossi. Lucia Rossi is easier to predict than like anybody else. All I have to do is be like, all I have to do is be like, is that a flame-headed cleric over there? And I know that Lucia Rossi is going to want to go that way. So, but I was planning on continuing after the manor.
Awesome. Yeah, because I'd really like to continue playing this.
Yeah, I want to see what the world's like out
Yeah,
there. It's
I would
been, like,
say
400
I'm actually
years.
this isn't. I don't consider it to be a spoiler, but I guess if you were thinking maybe I would end it like at the end of this adventure, I don't actually expect you to fight Orcus in the next room.
Well,
Well,
let's go.
Better get started up.
I mean, shit, we might be able to just go in right now.
Yeah, just save ourselves a whole session. So, but I mean, I have ideas that could eventually lead you to fighting off Orcus.
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah,
So we will. What about you, Peter? And well, Brendan, for you, New Year's Day is the 2nd.
Yeah, I'll be
So
fine.
it's-
Yeah. That is like around mid-January is when I start moving as well, and that's the big move. So I'll probably be out for a week, and yeah, then I'll be back the week after, hopefully.
What about you, Peter?
Yeah.
should be fine. New Year's Day in the afternoon.
Okay, so I would assume we would shoot for around 2 p.m. Central, just to pick a time at random.
That works for me.
Oh, that's true. What's that for Brendan?
Yeah, hang on, I'm looking it up now. 2 p.m. Central Time.
2 a.m.
God. That's at 7 a.m. and I'm never awake that early. So. I don't even wake up that early for school. So,
So what time do you generally wake up?
like,
Noon.
so when we start is a good time. But if we go like, we can cut like maybe 2-3 hours before that, and I can do that. So, what time is it when we start?
9:30 my time.
9:30. Okay, so 8.
It's 8:30 Central.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Yeah, give me. Yeah, if you cut it a little earlier. Yeah, I could probably do 3 or 4 hours earlier. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say we start then 4 hours earlier, and we'll just assume that Crick will have disappeared for an hour or two while Brendan wakes up.
Yeah. So what time? That'll be like 3 p.m. Central for you. Is that what we're
It'll be like 4:30 Central.
4:30 Central. Yeah, that's 9:30 for me. That's 9:30 a.m. for me. Okay, I'll do that. I'll be a zombie for the first couple hours, but then I'll be in it.
Just gotta get that coffee going, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
You gotta put some Fosters in there.
Fosters, God. No one drinks that shit.
Or just do one of those things where like you set your alarm so that unless you shut it off, it releases an angry kangaroo into your room.
Yeah, well, that's every morning, you know.
A dingo.
You gotta
Oh yeah, it'll steal my baby.
run and get your breakfast from Macca's.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna go to Macca's, dude. Yeah. Hell yeah. We got Macca's and the Dirty Bird down here. It's good.
The Dirty Bird. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
sure.
That's KFC.
Is that KFC?
Yeah.
Whereas the Dirty Bird reminds me of Fishay.
He was a Dirty Bird.
So, Peter, we're meeting for your game Sunday night?
Yes.
All right. I have to send you my character sheet. I'm basically done with it. Actually, unfortunately, I finished with it like that night of session 0. So now at this very moment, I forget half of what's on it. Should probably review it again.
Nah, it's not important.
So with your campaign, Peter, we're on like the other group's on a different day. But am I good to watch those episodes, or are they going to be like
why not?
spoiler alerts? Okay,
No, why not? You can watch them.
All right, good. I just don't want to be spoiled.
I mean, there'll be some crossover, some crossover stuff, but it won't be, And as long as it takes me to put videos out, shit, you'll be like 3 weeks behind. You start watching that.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
Still, it's all intel for the eventual demise of the Thursday group.
Speaking of which, I won't be able to make it to Peter's first session for Sunday, but so my character will actually start in the Thursday game, and then we'll then move to the Sunday game.
The spy.
Yeah, I don't know if my character's going to trust your character. Since my goal is to destroy the Thursday group, that's what I have on my character sheet.
I don't think you're ready for our group. You won't believe our armory is huge. You're screwed. My primary weapon's a rocket launcher. So, so it's gonna be it'll be great. Oh, we also have a flat cannon on our ship.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I have no idea what we have on our ship.
Yeah, it's
puppies and rainbows.
Hell yeah.
We'll just play. We will play the long game and eventually destroy the Thursday group.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, good night.
Right, later.
But
You guys, that's fun. Thanks, Kurt. Thanks for putting me back here.
All right.
No problem.
Yeah,
See you
that's
later.
good.